Happy Friday. I hope today's like a fantastic Friday for everybody. Some people are out and about living their best life. Some people are still at work. Some people are coming from work. I happen to be working right now. It's all good. But today, I'm not going to lie to you. I had like 3 different things in mind of what I wanted to do. None of them are hidden. Right? I was just like, okay, it's definitely time to go live, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm going live for because I had originally planned something and well, that's not happening. And then I tried something else and that's also not happening. So, we're just going to go with the flow. We're going to see what comes out of my cabeza. So, one thing that I can say, this is a message that I was definitely receiving earlier that I feel like people could benefit from. So I'm going to share it with y'all. But I was minding my business o'clock and I was just kind of like doing my work, doing what I needed to do. And something really hit me where I started asking the question like, what's holding me back? Mind you, I'm asking this question as I'm actively working on what needs to be worked on. So like I'm doing the work. I'm doing what I need to do, right? And I'm like, what's holding me back? Because it was just a part of me. I've been doing this thing where I'm being extremely honest with myself. But there was a part of me that's just like, okay, I'm doing the work, but I feel like I'm putting in 90%, right? Or maybe like 85% of my energy into this work that I'm doing, right? And I'm just like, what's holding me back? And I never ask that question, especially when I'm doing the work. I usually feel good about whatever it is that I'm doing. But this time around, I was like, there's something holding me back. What's holding me back? What is this question? It felt very intuitive to ask myself. I should have got water. I didn't. But I was sitting there working. I'm like, what's holding me back? What's going on? So I'm trying to figure out like, what is it? What's the problem? Am I feeling some type of way about the work that I'm doing? Do I not want to do this work? Am I tired? Right? And there was a lot of questions I was asking myself and I was like, yeah, it could be that. Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, it could be that. And then it just hit me. And I was like, disappointment. Period. Disappointment was holding me back. One thing about me in my life, disappointment has shown up in so many different ways. And because I was someone who got disappointed so often, I started realizing that when it comes to my work, when it comes to anything that I'm doing, there's a part of me that will hold myself back because there's a level of disappointment that I don't want to feel. Hello. Right? I'm just not interested in feeling disappointed. And the more that I think through why I don't put 100% into certain things, it always comes back to the same exact situation, which is I'm disappointed or I don't want to be disappointed. So I hold myself back. I don't allow myself to do what it is that I need to do. And that right there helped me understand why certain projects that I wanted to get done didn't get done in the time that I needed it to. Certain situations that I wanted to go after, I didn't go after, right? Disappointment. And so I started to kind of meditate and just kind of tap into that energy of disappointment. And sorry, there's a lot going on in the background. I left the window open. But disappointment, the idea of being disappointed, whether it's by yourself, being disappointed in others, things not going out the way that you want them to, right? Stuff like that is such a big part of why we do not go all in anything, whether it be our projects, whether it be, just the life that we want, right? Especially when it comes to like manifestation, going after things that you genuinely want. A lot of times when you are disappointed, when you have experienced disappointment, you get a little bit more cautious. And with every disappointment that you've experienced, you become more and more cautious. And although like, as a life coach, as a motivator, as somebody who's, consistently telling people like, let's go, let's push forward. I could literally push anybody in my family forward. The residue, I'm gonna call it residue. The residue of disappointment still actively lived in my life and took over my life in so many different ways. And so because I was so incredibly disappointed in people, I was disappointed in myself, I was disappointed in situations, in certain outcomes, I allow that to be the reason why I don't put 100% effort in something. Even when I think I am. Even when I'm like going all in, I'm actively doing the work, I'm doing what I need to do, there's still a part of me that's holding back because I don't want to be working on this project and for it to not go the distance I want it to go. Or I don't want to be working on this project and for something to not happen the way that I expect it to happen. The feeling of being disappointed, the feeling of being rejected, the feeling of things not actually panning out the way that you want it to hurts. And we don't actually talk about disappointment enough. We talk about unhappiness. We talk about anger. We talk about, not feeling good and fulfilled within our lives. We don't talk about disappointment enough. We don't talk about how much disappointment after disappointment after disappointment can actually very much affect the way that you show up in your life, the way that you show up in the things that you need to do, and your overall confidence, right? Just in manifestation, in the idea that you can have what it is that you want, things of that sort. Disappointment is probably one of the top feelings that people feel, and they kind of don't even realize that they're feeling it so deeply. They think that they're just unhappy, right? We just say, oh, I'm just so unhappy. But in reality, disappointment really is I would say, one of the main feelings, like of all my clients when I work with them, it is one of the main feelings that we run away from. It's like the thing that actually can push us to do something versus not. It's almost like I would be talking to clients who are like, they have these big ideas, these big things that they want, right? There was one client that really, really wants to have a beautiful marriage with kids, and they could clearly see everything that they wanted for themselves and could paint the picture so clearly for me. Like when I tell you so clearly, I mean so clearly. It was actually beautiful to listen to them talk about, what they wanted when it came to their marriage. However, as they're talking about what they want, they're actively thinking about their parents who got a divorce. They're thinking about how difficult the dating scene has been. They're thinking about what happened with their ex. And that overrided everything that they were thinking, everything that they wanted for themselves. All of those disappointments, all the disappointments they experienced was the thing that stopped them from fully going after and fully encouraging themselves to have what it is that they wanted. Right? People think it's just unhappiness. People think it's just, well, my life isn't what it is. A lot of times the reasons why we won't do the things that we know we need to do is because of disappointment. The disappointments of the past, disappointments of, life as a whole. We're disappointed in America. We're disappointed in the world. We're disappointed in how things have gone in the past. We're disappointed in ourselves for not getting to a certain level at a certain time. Disappointment can run your life. And when I was sitting here and I was like meditating, I was like, what's holding me back? I'm actively doing the work and I'm asking myself, what's holding me back? When I got to that place of asking myself, what is this? What is actually holding me back? What is keeping me from doing what I need to do? When I realized that the disappointments of the past was actively playing out as I was working on something completely new from anything that I've done in the past, I started realizing, when it comes to work, specifically me, when it comes to work, when it comes to my manifestations, when it comes to what it is that I want in my life, my past has more weight over what it is that I believe I can go after. So my past, what I've experienced in the past, holds more weight over my skill, over what I'm focused on, over what I care for. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people experience this. A lot of people go through the same thing. And it's one of those things where the more I was holding on to my past, the more I was remembering how disappointed I was back then, the more I didn't want to continue forward. The more I was just like, you know what? Let me go get a drink. Let me go, get something to eat. Now distractions are coming in. Now I'm like, oh, you know what? It's actually a very beautiful day outside. So let me go outside and see what's up. That's when all the distractions come through. And I realized that my clients are the exact same way. Their disappointments override what it is that they want in their lives. And as I was sitting here thinking about it, I was like, I'm about to go talk to my peoples about this. Brianna, let it go. It's exactly what needs to happen. You got to let it go, right? But as much as we say, like, I'm letting go of the past, I'm releasing it, it's all good. We have to realize that the reason why it's not as simple as just letting it go or just being like, well, get over it, is because the feeling is still very prominent. Even if you can let go of the memory, if you can let go of the situation, you can let go of the people that was a part of that situation, the feeling of it is still very much in your face. The feeling of it still very much comes up. And it's the feelings that we tend to run away from. It's not easy, not at all, right? The feeling of it is really difficult to actually deal with because now you're doing this new thing and then you're feeling disappointed as you're doing the new thing. So even though you want to run away from it, which most of us do, we just try to run away from it, just let it go, let it, get it out of your head. We actually have to deal with the feeling. We actually have to allow ourselves to see how we feel about this and go into it. And so I had two choices. I had one choice to just keep doing what I was doing, be like, anyway, let's move on, or dive into the feeling. And I'm telling you right now, at first, I was like, fuck the feeling. I was like, I'm not doing this. It's a no for me. I don't care about the feeling because I got stuff to do. I got things to handle. I got a deadline to meet, right? So I'm like, I'm working on something. I'm feeling this level of disappointment. The past is kind of playing out a little bit, but I'm just going to move on from it. And I did that 2 days ago. And I did that 3 days ago. And I did that 2 weeks ago. And I did that 4 weeks ago. And I was just like, anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's all good. Right? Because I know how to move through, right? I know how to still take action in the midst of feeling bad. So I was just like, it's all good. Like, I'm not going to let my feelings dictate what I'm doing. And then something happened where I was like, okay, this feeling has come up multiple times in the midst of me working on this specific project, right? Because I have multiple things that I'm doing, multiple things going on in my life. But this specific project really got me for some reason. The disappointment was right in my face. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to dive in. So even though I have this deadline, even though I have this thing that I want to get done by a certain time, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and dive into my emotions. Let me go ahead and see what my emotions are actively trying to tell me about what I'm doing. And that was the game changer for me. You got to go through the storm head on. Exactly. Hands down. That was the game changer for sure, because I was in a position where walking away from it just kept bringing it back. But the moment that I've allowed myself to, 1, admit that I'm feeling these feelings, 2, dive into those feelings, and 3, accept that I'm having a conversation with my feelings, like my feelings are not against me. And I think that's what we do. We tend to look at our feelings as if they're against us because we don't want to feel them, right? This feels bad, so I don't want to feel it, and so therefore it's against me. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your feelings, I say this all the time, especially to clients and stuff, your feelings are your friend. Your feelings are communicating something to you that you need to know. They're not trying to stop you. They're not trying to hold you back. They're not trying to keep you from what it is that you're meant to do in your life. Your feelings are simply conversing with you. They're telling you something that logically you may not be able to understand or see. They're telling you something that maybe is kind of lost in the subconscious mind that needs to come out, right? Hi, right? That's what your feelings are doing. We tend to look at our feelings, though, as something that is like so, much of an issue. It's this thing that we don't want to deal with. We're just like, oh, our feelings are trying to stop us, block us, hold us back. It doesn't feel good. So why would I feel it? I just got to keep pushing through. Right? We do all of that. And I get it. I've seen so much content. I've seen people talk like that. There was even a point in time where I was talking like that, where I'm just like, you just got to push through the feeling. Okay. Just keep going. Feel the feels and do it anyway. Right? Yes. And also, if we started changing our perspective to actually see our feelings as our friend, our feelings are having a conversation with us. Our feelings are telling us something that we don't know. Our feelings are giving us something that we didn't know that we needed in the first place. Hi. I subscribed. Yay, I love that. Welcome to the family, baby. What's going on? Don't attack your identity to your feelings, because when you reach point critical, you will crumble under the weight. Exactly. Feelings can be dangerous as well. Absolutely. But I think that's the issue. We've walked around, right? I love that you just said that. Feelings can be dangerous as well. We've literally walked around. Oh, Jazzy. Okay. Everybody subscribe. I love that. Welcome to the family. Right? But We can look at our feelings as dangerous. And I think we've been looking at feelings as dangerous for a long time. That is like the norm. That is how we see our feelings. Our feelings are dangerous. They are, unstable. They are just feelings. It's no big deal. Just move past it, right? We love to call ourselves too emotional. I don't know how many clients, how many people I have dealt with that are just like, oh, I'm just too emotional. And the worst part is when they say they're too emotional, they're actually speaking to just crying. They cry a lot, or they feel sad, or they feel people's emotions and stuff like that. And I'm like, first of all, if you're too emotional, that means that you feel every emotion, because it's not just sadness, right? It's not just anger that emotions are. There's so many emotions out there, but we only look at emotional as sadness, right? So every time we think about feelings, we think sad, we think mad, we think this like lower energy. We feel like our feelings is this thing you got to run from. We feel like we're not allowed to feel, like you are not truly normal if you can't be, what's it called, stable within your feelings, which what the hell is a stable feeling in the first place? We got a lot to talk about here, right? But feelings being dangerous has always been the norm. But what if we see feelings as our friend? What if instead of running away from them so that they don't necessarily, become something much bigger, we actually dealt with them? Because here's how I see it. If your feelings are coming up at very specific times, you're just feeling these feelings deeply. They're just saying, hey, notice me. That's it. Your feelings are just saying, hey, notice me. I have something to say to you. But what we do is we say, no, don't say anything. I don't know if you've ever been like mushed off by like a boss, a friend, somebody. You have something that you need to say. You have something to get off your chest, but no one wants to hear you. Like they just keep mushing you. They just keep silencing you. They make you feel like, you're just not important enough to be speaking, right? That is so degrading. That is it's painful to have somebody consistently shush you, but we consistently do that to ourselves with our own feelings. I love you so much, girl. Mad love from over here. That's right. Homegirls over here. I love the love. Your feelings are coming from your spiritual self. Exactly. It's literally who we are. But like I was saying, when your feelings are being mushed off to the side, all you're doing is creating this bigger box of more feelings, of deeper feelings. So for example, if you're sad, right? You go through something that makes you sad and you decide, I'm not going to feel that sadness. Anyway, I'm just going to push through. I'm going to move over. But you didn't allow your sadness to fully express itself the way that it needs to express itself. There's a few things that you're stopping yourself from doing. One, you're stopping yourself from actually becoming emotionally intelligent and emotionally stable, which means that sadness is telling you there's an imbalance in what you're feeling. So if your neutral state is just solid, fulfilled, you're good, right? And you start to feel sad, that sadness is saying, hey, there's an emotional imbalance here. Let's take care of it. Okay? We got to do something about this emotional imbalance. For you, you're just like, yeah, the thing that I'm going to do about it is I'm just going to get rid of it. Cool. So the way I want you to think about it is a car, right? If a tire is flat, there's an imbalance. So driving becomes dangerous. So you have one of two options. You can either fill it with air or completely change the tire, right? So let's say it blows out. You need to completely change the tire. Not only did you remove that tire, but you also replaced the tire. But imagine going and seeing that your tire, the tire of your car is flat or, it blew out, whatever the case is. You take out that tire, but you don't replace the tire. You just take out the tire. You just ignore it, right? Or you leave the tire there flat and you ignore that it's flat. There's an imbalance and the imbalance didn't go away. Ignoring that tire, ignoring the problem, ignoring the feeling doesn't make the feeling go away. It doesn't make the problem go away. It doesn't make the issues go away. All it does is it tells you, hey, by the way, it's still here. The problem's still here. As a matter of fact, it's going to become a bigger problem because when you could have dealt with it head on, seen that the tire is flat, went and put air in it, you didn't. You decided to ignore it and then you kept driving. So now it got even flatter. You still didn't do anything about it. So now it's getting even worse. Now it's the tire is gone. The tire blew out. So now you can't even drive the car. And instead of dealing with the tire head on, you are now in a much worse position because now you actually have to deal with the idea that you have to pay more money to get a whole new tire when you could have paid less money to put in air earlier, right? The tire analogy is what we do with our feelings. We feel our feelings. We look at feelings as if it's dangerous, and we are literally wired to completely run away from danger. We don't want to deal with danger. We know to look the other way when danger's over there. If something dangerous is over there, you're not going to go towards it. That is not what you want to do. You want to go away from it because that's the way that you know to protect yourself. So if we see feelings as this dangerous thing, or if we see feelings as something that we have to ignore or go away from, it only gets worse. It doesn't get better. We don't do anything with it. It only gets worse. So because the feelings is only getting worse, it becomes bigger. It becomes a problem in your life. And now it's really under there. So now something that was just sadness becomes rage. Something that was simple, right? It could have been as simple as just feel your feelings right now. It becomes so much bigger, so much harder than what you were originally dealing with because you ran away from it. And we all do it because we learn, in my opinion, most households and society really teaches you not to feel your feelings. Right? Or if you feel it, you kind of have to just work through it and move on. To lash out, to really give it any type of attention and stuff like that, that's not normal. That's not how you're supposed to operate. That's not how you're supposed to act. So now there's nowhere to feel safe enough to feel the feelings. And here's the real, in my opinion, formula for that is just vulnerability. Everybody is running from vulnerability, but vulnerability could literally fix so many issues that happen before the issues happen. If we're allowed to feel safe within ourselves, to be vulnerable with ourselves about what's going on, to actually say the things that hurt us, to actually say the things that don't feel the best, we could fix 99% of our issues before they become a much bigger issue. But instead, we run away. And every time we run away, guess what happens? The same old thing. We run away just means run it back. That's it. Every time you run away from your feelings, you're just telling your feelings to come back later. That's it. Come back later, but come back later stronger, right? You're sad right now. I don't want to deal with your sadness right now. Come back angry. You're angry right now. I don't want to deal with anger right now. Come back enraged. You're enraged right now. I don't want to deal with enraged right now. Come back absolutely just bonkers. As a matter of fact, come back blacked out drunk and destroy everything. That's how that goes. And a lot of times, it really does start with something as simple as, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in how something went out. I'm disappointed in what happened. I'm disappointed. And we'll take something, and I'm going to call it small, right? We'll take a feeling as small as I'm disappointed, and I just need to feel my disappointment. I need to look my disappointment in the eyes for exactly what it is. We're going to pretend like disappointment has eyes, okay? We're going to look at disappointment in the eyes for exactly what it is, and we're going to decide to deal with it head on. I'm disappointed in that friend for treating me the way that they did. I'm disappointed in the fact that my marriage didn't work out. I'm disappointed in the fact that I thought I was going to be way further than I actually am. And this disappointment hurts. It hurts my heart. It feels like I am drowning. It feels the worst. And instead of just lashing out and speaking it and just saying it and roar, this is my life, and embarking on things that are just going to help disappointment, such as Netflix and drinking and smoking and everything that makes us kind of go around the actual feeling, go into it. Go into the disappointment. Go into the sadness. Go into the hurt. Go into the pain. Don't run away from it because it's not dangerous to you. As a matter of fact, it's more dangerous to ignore it. It's more dangerous to not deal with it. It's more of a problem to let it continue to flourish in your life the way that it is. Our feelings are our friends. And that was something that I had to remember today because I've been running away from my feelings for maybe the past few days, not realizing that I was doing that. I was like, what the hell am I running from? Why am I running from this? Why? Because it hurts. Who wants to feel pain? Nobody wants to feel pain. Everybody wants to just feel as good as possible. But you are already in pain. That's the part we don't realize. We'd rather stay in the illusion of I have no pain here, but literally, you're already in pain. You're already struggling. You're already going through it. So you might as well allow yourself to get into it. Because by the time you're in pain, here's the part. By the time you feel the feels, you're in it. So the more you're fighting it, the harder it becomes. But once you're in the feels, feel the feels. Feel the feels straight through, because that's more productive than not feeling it. And I'm going to talk about, making sure that your feelings don't completely take over, right? And stop you from doing what you need to do. But feelings are also frequencies. And when you're doing something in a certain frequency, you're going to get the same result as that frequency, right? So if you're in a lower frequency, you're going to get low results you do not want. So it's actually more productive to work through what you need to work through and then do what you got to do, than to take that feeling and completely shove it to the side. And when I say work through what you got to work through, I mean, if you have, let's say, 5 hours to get something done, but you're feeling these deep, deep, deep feelings, you need to give yourself 30 minutes to an hour to feel them. And then work endlessly for the next 4 hours getting shit done. But you still have to give the feeling time. That's how the feeling starts to understand, oh, I'm not being dismissed. I'm not an issue. You're willing to work on this with me? Cool. I'm not going to come back so hard. I'm not going to hurt you so hard. I'm not going to try to make my point even more. Because think about a crying baby, or just like any kid throwing a tantrum. The kid just kind of wants what it wants. So if a kid wants attention and isn't getting attention, the kid's going to get louder, right? It's just going to throw a bigger tantrum, right? I have a cat. Every time my cat wants love, my cat's like my cat's in my face. Like my cat's like, I'm not leaving you alone until you pet me. That's the type of cat I have, right? And it's one of those things where I'm like, the more I don't pet her, the more she's all up in my mix. There's nothing I can't do until she feels my hands actually giving her a level of love. She's like, you've gone about 10 hours not petting me. You're busy. I don't like that. Give me some love. And I'm like, I would be like, I fed you. I gave you everything you need. What do you possibly need? And she's like, I know you're working, right? This is the conversation I'm having with my cat. She's like, I know you're working. And also, give me my love. And it's so funny what happens. After I pet home sis, okay? I give her some love. I give her some affirmations, right? Because I be talking up my pets, okay? My fishes, my cats, it's no joke. But I be talking them up, and I'm giving her love, and I'm brushing her, and I'm petting her, and I'm telling her that she's absolutely beautiful, and that she could be whatever kind of cat she wants to be. And I'm so proud of her for how good she is in the house, and how good she is when she goes outside, right? I'm telling her all this beautiful stuff. Guess what happens? She calms down, she goes away, she leaves me alone. And now I can focus way more than I could when she was all up in my mix. And you want to know why? Because I just gave her a little bit of attention. I just focused on her for a second, gave her the attention she needed, and she calmed down. She also needed something else, but she was like, I'll be patient because you're giving me some love. You got to do the same thing with your emotions. 333 on the clock as I say this. You got to do the same thing with your feelings. If the rainbow is what you want, you must endure through the rain. You better talk about it. You better bring them, what are we calling that? Metaphors, quotes, so many different things. But yes, exactly that. I'm a firm believer in, if you are feeling a feeling, it's telling you something. It's absolutely telling you something, because I'm telling you, 3 projects I'm working on right now. I worked on the first one, no problem. I worked on the second one, no problem. The third one, couldn't get rid of the disappointment feeling. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And after doing some writing, after doing some meditating, after connecting, that's when I realized, I was like, oh, okay. I've been here before. I've experienced disappointment with a project similar to this before. And there's a part of me that needs to directly connect with that version of me and let myself know it's safe. My brain, my nervous system is just trying to say, hey, by the way, you've done this before and you were disappointed. You sure you want to go there again? The disappointment and the feeling isn't against me. It's just asking me a question. Are you sure you want to do this again? Or, hey, You did go through something that, when you did this, it did drive you a little bit crazy. You in a better space? Do you think you need to heal through this first before you dive in? Right? Do you think you need to notice something first before you dive in? Your feelings are your friends, baby boo. Sugar pie, honey bun. Your feelings are your friends. And the day that you decide that you're going to allow your feelings to be your friend, you're no longer going to look at it as something you need to run away from. You're going to look at it as something that's telling you something. The same way you can look at angel numbers, the same way you can look at signs and synchronicities, the same way you can call a friend, go to a therapist, and have them tell you what's going on, and you could take it in as advice and you could take it in as a message. That's the same way you got to look at your own feelings, because your feelings are also intuitive. You are feeling your feelings because you are intuitive. I believe, oh my God, I hope I'm saying your name right. Lionel, right? I think you said it earlier. You said your feelings are coming from your spiritual self. Exactly. Your feelings are coming from your spiritual self, 100%. And as your spiritual self, for you to X your feelings out, it is Xing you out. Your feelings are giving you the message that you need, the message you can't logically understand, the message you can't logically feel, per se. Logically feel, if that's even a thing, right? So listen to those feelings. They're telling you something. And usually they come up in specific times because they're letting you know, in order for you to cross over to this next part of whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're manifesting, whatever it is that you want in your life, you have to overcome this. Otherwise, it's going to show up again, and it's going to pull you down again, and you're going to feel disappointed again. And we don't want that. So that's the message that I was receiving. It was very helpful for me, and I wanted to come on here and make sure that I could remind my peoples of it, because we need that reminder sometimes. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be in your feelings. It's okay to have your feelings. And then it's okay to actually give your feelings attention. Give your feelings some time to be felt, because that probably is going to be where your inspiration comes from. That's going to be where your clarity comes from. That's going to be where your intuitive insight comes from. Usually your feelings will be louder when it needs you to give you some time. In a time where you're trying to give everybody else all of your attention and all of your energy, it's just saying, hey, I need you to feel the feelings real quick so that you can actually do the work you need to do for yourself, because you've manifested something that requires you to do this work. Your feelings are your friends, baby. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but I'm going to say it a few times, okay? So that's the Friday message of the day. I didn't see it coming because, like I said earlier, I had no plan for today, okay? I had a few plans, but none of them worked out. So I was going to come on here and do a few other things, but I was just like, nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that doesn't work. And decided to wing it. And we winged it into this, real life, real content. That's how that works. But hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's something that you can take into your day, take into your week, take into your month, take into the year. And remember, your feelings are your friends. They are not your enemies. They are not against you. They are not holding you back in any way. They are giving you the love that you need. They are showing you something that you need to know. And they're asking you to work through them and with them, not against them and away from them. Okay? All right? You hear me, boo bop, sugar pie, honey bun? Yeah. Okay. Until next time, we'll probably be back here when we're back here. Okay. So I hope I get to see all of y'all. And until then, I'm sending you love. Bye.